reporting this morning. Former Finance Minister wanted. Ex-NPA boss Mustafa Hamid and 8 others under investigation. This is according to Special Prosecutor Kisia Jabin. Now, the cases that the Special Prosecutor is asking or is demanding that Mr. Ofori-Atta, Nana Yao Kuntun Kununku Ofori-Atta Kenneth, comes to answer GRA SML deal, ECG Beijing contract, National Cathedral project, One Constituency, One Ambulance initiative, GRA's tax refund accounts. So 5 of them largely. But that's not the only thing that's being considered by the OSP anyway. I mean, it was the animated way Kisia Jabin actually presented the facts, almost as if. So he gave a certain indication that, well, Mr. Ofori-Atta has no plans of attending to the OSP, and he believes that the original intent has always been to indefinitely not respond to them or come for them to engage them. Of course, he also admits that there's a form of a response to them that indicated the man was not well and he was seeking treatment, and at the appropriate time he may show up. But he dismisses all of that as ruse. He believes that the original intent is that the man indefinite. That's why he says he's a wanted man, and that made the headlines throughout the day because many were interested in how a very fine Bible quoting, white wearing, wonderful gentleman like Ofori-Atta could be wanted. But this is just investigation level. Hopefully, when he's able to avail, this conversation about my lawyers will be available to answer, or we will give you all the information that you want. Is it not cooperation enough? Especially when you're unable to present yourself in person. Especially when the reason for not being able to, of course, let's also admit that the health care reason is not being accepted by the OSP, and he was quite clear in his mind on that. The people who apparently raided Mr. Ofori-Atta's residence, that grouping, he says it has nothing to do with the special prosecutor. He says either stage, he gave options. He believes, and he went through a chronology of events suggesting that we contacted you, right? We had expressed the need to engage you, and you also came back to us on offer. He believes that it wasn't really the case, but subsequently we saw some videos, I don't know, or is it pictures or so, of military clothing wearing, sometimes police people. And for my house, who was well gone, I am very skeptical about assigning authority to anybody. Because sometimes you may say that the guy is a military man, only to be found that he was just done the thing, and he's really not one of those people. So, but I think that practice is not good enough.
And that's why the military is always worried about people.
We have dismissed, we have raised concerns about it in times past. There's nothing wrong with even you being interested in arresting Ken Ofori-Atta. He's Ghanaian like any other person. But what has the military got to do with such a practice? Why? Ofori-Atta, is he some terrorist? I don't see the point in all this Rambo style raiding and invasion that happens around people.
The military must actually issue a statement on this. And you see why sometimes, you raise a very important point, why sometimes when people are seen in military clothes, the military would ask questions
hard on them,
and sometimes don't want them to wear these things.
Actually, there's a law that forbids civilians to do so.
And you see, because here we are talking about this, but you make a point that even when the lawyers of Mr. Ofori-Atta had indicated cooperation, they said any question you may have, we are prepared to cooperate. Any information you may seek, we are prepared to cooperate. I think that, going ahead to declare the man as if the man is unwilling to cooperate is problematic. And to be very honest with you, the OSP could have said Ken Ofori-Atta was under investigation without going to the length of declaring him a fugitive from justice and all of that. I think this dramatic and theatrical should stop. The OSP can do his work without engaging in these. If Ken Ofori-Atta and many of us on this platform who have said that part of the problems we're facing in this country today is because of the actions of Ken Ofori-Atta. If he had done anything wrong, I 100% support Ken Ofori-Atta being made to ask questions.
Answer.
And he should answer those questions. Yeah. But as it stands now, where his lawyers are willing to cooperate, I think that the whole running away from justice, he has no intentions to come to the country, and with that look at everything, that dramatic and the theatricals being employed by the special prosecutor, enough.
And even yesterday, monitoring developments in Parliament, I mean, I was interested in the account of John Jinapo and even the account later of the current Attorney General about what they went through. It was bad yesterday and was bad today.
And that's why we should stop.
And yes, and we should condemn it. And also not for those who are seen to be middle class, upper politicians, but it's also bad for every person who is a Ghanaian.
True.
If you want to investigate someone, unless that person is a flight risk or whatever, let's use the right procedure.
And again, if I'm a flight risk, you have an option of going to court and compelling the court to insist that I come on this.
So it was bad yesterday, it is bad today. And the practice where if we want someone to answer, let's do the right thing. Not only politicians, but every Ghanaian out there. That should be the practice.
I like the point that you're making, Raymond, that if someone is a flight risk, you go to court, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is determined by a court that you are a flight risk. You should not travel. We will take your passport from you. We will actually prevent you. If you have 2 days, go and see this agency, all of that. That can be done easily. Let's not take the law into your own hands, because when it's done to you tomorrow, you would also complain.
Yes, it is bad.
And the fact that something might have happened to you yesterday doesn't mean you should bet it out to other people. That's not an evolved response. See, mostly we do all of this, what they call it, bravado, tough guy thing, then ends up being a Cecilia Dapa kind of case. So me, I'm not one of those people who gets excited merely because somebody is declared wanted.
Or even if you don't get your facts right, you go to court and your case is thrown out. Then you see that the judiciary, they are anti this, they don't support us, they are corrupt and all the rest.
I never wake up with the intent that OSP says I'm pursuing somebody, so I'm excited we'll get justice. Because the evidence of the work of the OSP has been a lot of noise making but little results. So me, I'm not one of those people who just comes to the conclusion that if you really have results to deliver, let us see them. The people, if you charge them, they'll have defense. They can even go to court and tell the court. And it happened in the Kennedy Japan case. One of them, where the man said he was unwell. He took doctors to the court to go and make the case for himself that he was unwell. When people are unwell, they cannot do certain things. It will not take 1 week or 2 weeks to actually deal with this case. You have a lot of time on your hands. So let's not do, let's not create the impression that all of a sudden the OSP is working. You've been in existence for God knows how long. And I am happy that the OSP can deliver on its mandate. In fact, some of us were excited when it was created. We're excited when Matt Damidi was appointed. Then
you know what Raymond is about. We'll come back to this later. Let's do the other stories.
Okay,
let's do the other stories.
Now, so the other story here, President orders probe into National Service Authority ghost names scandal. Then there's this one about Jubilee House to host 68th Independence Anniversary. So the claim is that we spent a lot of money on it. So this time around, it's being worked on. We are going to spend up to, but we didn't get to know the amount of money we're going to spend. But we're going to spend up to the 5 or the 50 million that has always been the big cost across the country. I support it 100%. When you don't have money, let the people know you don't have money by your conduct. This flashing, let all the kids come and line up in the sun and be doing salutes like some, what they call it, country. It doesn't make sense to me. If you do a small ceremony and there's still speeches by the executive leader of the country, it achieves the same purpose. Sit March is a day for us to reflect on true independence. not a day for us to do pump and pageantry and incur more debt for a country that's already in serious debt.
I am for cutting down the cost, but the venue being the Jubilee House, that's where the concern is, still maybe at Independence Square or Black Star Square, but still.
I think that the indication they are giving is that it's not going to be the usual thing where everybody can come there. It's just a few people invited there. Go and sit down. In fact, they should even cut out any form of luncheon or any form of food eating after the event. Just go do the basic speeches and move it on.
Okay.
I think that it will be acceptable. And you see, some of these things, they are signaling.
Yeah.
You let people know that you are interested in cost cutting. You are interested in making sure you save money. And
so then when you also say that they should cut down or tighten their belts,
it makes sense to them.
It resonates to them. But let me do the Ghanaian Times. It says president on a working visit to Germany and Ethiopia. Doesn't mean that now Professor Jinana Pokwajimat is the acting president of Ghana.
Yes,
right?
she is.
Okay. Fine.
First woman acting president of the Republic of Ghana.
I didn't, Madam Speaker, act president for that.
Oh yes. No, why have I removed? Oh, there was even a time that Chief Justice acted.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, first woman vice president who is acting.
Okay.
Yes.
And to another story in the Ghanaian Times, maintain momentum on fiscal reforms to build resilient economy. So says the World Bank. If you are at the program yesterday, it looks like there are still serious concerns about the economy. And even with discussions going on, pre-budget, the energy sector debt is a huge problem. Our fiscal situation is also a problem. And it looks like maybe we are not out of the woods yet.
Oh, forgive me, but I'm not sure any of us were of the opinion that we're out of the woods. Or was there any thinking like that?
Well, there were some arguments that
some people were very
covered.
I see. You can have a spirited hope that we are recovering, but for some of us,
the signs are there are signs of recovery, but whether we are out of the woods. The World Bank report,
is our inflation still targeted 8 plus or minus?
You're looking at the second quarter of 2026 to have the single digit second quarter, but the projection is that it will continue to slow down this year. And cuts like these, if government spending contributes to fueling inflation, these measures could also impact as well. Yeah.
I thought you had other stories in the paper.
Government cancels a grand independence celebration to save costs. OSP declares Ken Ofori-Atta wanted, takes legal steps to secure his return. Yeah.
But there was a story I didn't mention earlier. AG, the banks dropping cases for political reasons. So whilst the OSP finished his press conference in the morning, later on in the afternoon, somewhere in the evening, because it ended around 6:15 or so. Yes, Attorney General Dr. Dominic Akurutingayine also took his time to explain three main reasons, weaving the cases around the reasons.
Clearing agent.
So yes, yes.
But he had this comment on
title.
the special prosecutor, right? Interesting, I would say.
To be fair to Aine, he had never been a true supporter of the concept in the first place. And the problem with him also is that sometimes he's unable to divorce his earlier stance from, okay, now I've acquired the position in government, so I disagree with myself. No.
But I like people like that for him.
Yeah, he's unable to do.
Now, if you had a position,
and see, he was
while in
straightforward.
opposition,
He said, "Oh no."
While in opposition, and you stick to that, you must stick to that position when you are in government. So if he was against OSP,
yes,
I don't see anything wrong with him still saying he's against it, except that in this case it's been passed as an act. So it will be the president's decision.
So I think that's the point I also wanted to make. Dr. Ine may be not in full support of the work of the OSP, but you're working for government. You are an advisor to the executive lead of the country. The expectation is that we get to know what the executive lead thinks about the OSP's work. You get my point?
Yeah.
Yes. So that we don't make it look like we created an institution, an independent one that can actually do its work, and you are putting spokes in its wheels.
I've always asked whether it's possible, and for those with the legal brain should just educate me, whether we can have the separation, the Minister of Justice, and also have the Attorney General also different as well.
Yes, we can do that. So that, in fact, ideally, anybody who is Minister of Justice, right, should be very much mindful of that heavy title upon yourself. you are expected to do justice to all manner of people, to the government, to the people, to people who are accused of things. But our people end up sometimes being only one-sided, even sometimes very partisan in their considerations, which is not a title they can carry, because you don't expect politicians to now pretend that they are independent people.